Hey everyone, we're talking masters runners today.
Those over 35s.
Yeah, exactly. The ones absolutely crushing it.
Really defying expectations.
That's what we're diving into, right? What's happening as we age, but more importantly, can we keep getting those PRs even as we get older?
Definitely a question on a lot of people's minds.
So we've got this IAAF research all about endurance and masters runners. One stat that blew me away, participation marathons over 40s since 1980.
Let me guess. Huge increase.
Try 1,000%.
Yeah.
Exploded, so clearly something's happening.
Right, like, yeah, bodies change, we know that, but is that the whole story?
That's the question, isn't it? Now, we know peak performance, it generally declines, right?
It's true, but I think the key is it's not this sudden drop-off.
Not like hitting a cliff at 35.
Exactly, haha. More like, a gradual slope. And how steep? Well, that depends.
Okay, so it's not predetermined like, bam, you're done.
Not at all. The research gets into it, but there are these three main things at play.
Hit us with them.
VO2 max, that's one. Then there's lactate threshold.
Okay, familiar with VO2 max, not gonna lie, the other one, not so much.
So VO2 max, how much oxygen, your body, exercise, basically your aerobic engine.
Gotcha.
And yeah, declines, makes sense, 10% per decade after 25, give or take. Like, our bodies are amazing, but, a little wear and tear.
Makes sense.
But big, but consistent training.
Yeah.
Huge difference for masters athletes.
So there's hope, even if the number itself goes down.
Absolutely. Now, lactate threshold, this is when your muscles, they start to burn intense exercise.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Right. And you'd think big decline with age, right? But actually, relative to your VO2 max, might not change that much.
So even if our VO2 max is lower, our lactate threshold might be similar when you compare it to that new VO2 max.
Exactly.
So we can still push it.
Got it. Might just need to tweak how you train, but we'll get to that.
Okay, loving this. VO2 max, we can slow it down. Lactate threshold, maybe not the enemy we thought. What was the third one again?
Running economy. Think. Efficiency. How well you're using that oxygen at a given speed. Good news here. Seems to stay pretty steady with age.
So experience pays off.
You could say that, yeah. Technique gets refined. It's like your body learns.
I like it. Our bodies are adapting even when we don't realize it. Adapting is key, but life, right, it kind of throws curveballs.
It does, yeah. Jobs, family, the whole shebang. It impacts training.
Less time, I'm hearing you. So does that mean we just, I don't know, accept the slowdown?
Not so fast. This is where the research gets really cool. There are ways to train, not just maintain, but maybe even improve.
Music to my ears. Tell me more.
Two main approaches they looked at. Continuous training, CON for short, and then the more intense one, discontinuous high-intensity training, or DHIT.
Con, I'm guessing that's what most of us think of when we think running.
You got it. The longer, steady efforts, 30 minutes, an hour, comfortable pace, builds that base, right? VO2 max loves it, and it teaches your body, hey, burn that fat for fuel.
Makes sense. Now, DHIT, that's the intriguing one. What's the magic there?
DHIT, this is where it gets interesting. Short bursts, really intense, close to your max, then you got recovery periods in between.
So we're talking like sprints, hills, that kind of thing.
You got it. And what they found was this can be really effective for building power, that anaerobic capacity.
So sustaining higher speeds, longer, even as we age.
Exactly. And the kicker is even short periods of DHIT can be beneficial, even if you haven't been, training crazy intense.
That's good to know because sometimes you hear high intensity and think, not for me.
Yeah, it's about doing it right. Now, one thing with DHIT, how intense is intense enough? Especially if you don't have, lab tests and stuff.
Right. Not everyone's got a VO2 max monitor just lying around.
Exactly. And this is cool. The research talks about perceived effort. Basically, listen to your body.
So our internal cues matter.
Big time. Those longer DHIT intervals, aim for, hard to very hard. And for the short ones, the all-out ones, 10 minutes or more, at least 90% of your VO2 max during the session.
So even without knowing the exact number, we can still structure it?
Exactly. Now, recovery, that's huge EE, especially as we get older. The research, they stress that enough rest between those hard efforts, passive rest, or even just light activity. It's not just catching your breath, it's letting your body adapt.
Easy to forget that when you're just focused on pushing harder. Now, here's something I didn't expect. We've been all about the running, but strength training. Apparently, that's a piece of the puzzle, too.
Absolutely. And it all comes back to how our muscles change as we age.
I think a lot of us, me included, we hear strength training and we think big muscles, which not always the goal for endurance, right?
It's way more than that. Naturally, we lose muscle as we get older, everyone. But for runners, that loss, It can really impact how well we perform, how we recover. Now, both Con and DHIT, good for those type 1 muscle fibers, those endurance ones.
Okay, so those are the ones helping us go the distance.
Exactly. Then you have your type 2, the powerhouses, the fast twitch ones. Sadly, those are the ones that really decline as we age.
Oh no, what can we do?
That's where strength training comes in, gives those type 2 fibers a fighting chance.
So even if they decline, they haven't lost all their potential.
Exactly. And there's research to prove it. 1 study, 2 sessions a week, maximal strength training alongside their regular running.
2 sessions, that seems doable.
Right. And their running economy, it improves significantly. Seems counterintuitive, but even that little bit of strength training, it makes a difference.
2 sessions, that seems manageable, even with, life and...
Right. And that actually brings up a really interesting point from the research. They were focused on, preventing that decline. But what if these strategies, the Con-On, the DHIT, the strength training, what if they actually help us improve?
Yeah.
Even as we,
Get older. Are you saying we could actually get faster, stronger?
It sounds crazy, right? But the research, it kind of hints at that. It challenges this idea, what our bodies can do at different ages.
Love that. Like rewriting the rules as we go. This whole deep dive has been eye-opening, I'm not going to lie.
It's exciting stuff, isn't it? And the best part is there's so much more to learn. We're just scratching the surface of what our bodies are capable of.
It's like a whole new frontier in athletic performance. So any final thoughts for our listeners? What should they be thinking about?
We've talked a lot about the physical stuff, right? The body. But what about the mental side? Pushing your limits. Later in life, yeah, you might see physical gains, but also maybe greater resilience, confidence, like a whole new perspective on what's possible as we age.
Wow, I like that. Makes you wonder, how much are we holding ourselves back with our own ideas about getting older? So much to think about. A huge thank you to you for walking us through all of this research. It's been awesome.
My pleasure.
And to all of you listening, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep running. This is The Deep Dive. Signing off.